I was born in the mountains of Western Carolina. My thoughts take me back when I was just a boy. Mom and Dad gave us love and filled our lives with joy. Grandpa preached the Bible and taught us right from wrong. Grandma taught us laughter and sang a gospel song. I was born in the mountains of Western Carolina. Memories of yesterday still walk through my mind. I see the rolling fields and peaks out to the pole, with wide open hemlocks to shade black water bottom. Smokes and the Blue Ridge stand tall against the sky. Streams so clear with laurel banks and stars in the night. Echoes of the hound sound sweetly as I hear. Road along my mama's songs and twice as I hear. I was born in the mountains of Western Carolina. Memories of yesterday still run through my mind. I see the rolling fields and peaks out to the pole, with a wide open hemlock to shade black water bottom. Shadows of the past linger to this day. Times of lessons learned got me on my way. River runs along a place I treasure in my heart. Across along I'm going on, never more too far. I was born in the mountains of Western Carolina. Memories of yesterday still run through my mind. I see the rolling fields and peaks out to the pole, with a wide open hemlock to shade the black water bottom.
Hey Fred, can I try that?
Well, young man, I reckon you can. Here's how you do it. Just lay it across the pole like that. That's right. Dig in a little and draw it towards you. Yeah, you're doing fine. Now, when you come to a knot, there you work the blade around. And if you don't get it all off, you can tell, you see, so you just do it again until you get right down to bare wood. I'll tell you what, I'll give you 25 cents a pole for every pole you peel. Now, they don't have to be perfect because I'm just going to use them for braces inside the barn. You got 6 poles to peel. Now, are you interested and are you able to do the job?
Oh yes, I'm interested, and I can handle the job. I'll do it.
All right. You just gave your word, and your word is your bond. It's a deal. I'll tell you something else. You do a good job, I'll throw in an extra quarter just for good measure. Can I ever tell you about my Aunt Tildy? My great Aunt Tildy, she lived about a mile or so from my family down on Anderson Branch. When I was a little boy, she was very, very old. I used to love to tell stories. But back during the time between the war between the states, you see, she was young, tough, strong. She had to be. All men folks gone on to fight in the war. Yeah, I used to love to listen to pretty old stories of that time. Now her daddy, my great-great-grandfather, Colson, and his two boys, James and Christy, they were stationed with the Union Army over in Leadville, Tennessee. Well, Uncle James, he sent a letter to Aunt Tildy telling her that he had a bundle of clothes and a pair of women's shoes. And if she could get on over there to Leadville, he'd give it to her. Well, you know, Tildy, she could cross all the way across the mountains to Leadville. And when she got back to Anderson Branch...
Daddy, Tommy, supper's ready. Come on and eat before it gets cold.
Huh? Well, what happened was, when she got back, a rebel soldier took the shoes from her. And old Aunt Tildy, she whooped the fool out of that soldier and took the shoes back. Hey, your mom's got some supper ready, and I'm about to starve to death. Let's go eat.
To help raise the boy, I reckon I didn't have much of a choice. You see, just as soon as he was old enough to know how good it was to have his daddy around, his daddy up and left home for good. His grampy became his role model then, and he was a really good one. But it wasn't too long before grampy passed on. You know that boy, he doted on every word I said, because he was just so starved for attention. He doted on everything, even the useless information. Hey, Uncle Robert. Hey, buddy. Let's work on this little nesting box for your hen. Put some in right here. You do the same. Just run it in there. There you go. Yeah. Now, did I ever tell you about the time when I was a boy? I had a buddy, and his daddy was a tattooed man in a traveling circus. Yeah, he had tattoos all over. I mean, everywhere except for maybe his hands, neck, and I guess his face. Maybe not on his feet, but he had them everywhere else. That man, he wasn't in much. But when he was, he liked to take me and his boy frog gigging. Now, I'll tell you, that man loved frog legs. That's something else. Well, anyway, here's how that went. There you go. Looking good. Yeah, well, he wasn't in much, but, you know, he loved to take his frog gigging. Anyway, one night, we were out frog gigging.
My daddy's got a tattoo of an eagle chasing a rabbit on his backside. Let me see if I can get him to show it to us. Dad, will you show us your big old rabbit tattoo?
Oh, heck, son, you boys don't really want to see it, now do you?
Okay, boys, get a good look, because I don't show this one to too many people.
Do I have to tell you what hole that rabbit was running into? Do that one there. Now, got it? Look at it. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Now, I'll tell you, son, your little hen, you're going to love this nesting box. All right, let's get these things loaded up. Got a lot of papers to get out today now. Now, did I ever tell you about the time that my granddaddy put that feller's eye out with his thumb?
No, I would remember that.
Hop in the Bronco here and I'll tell you. This was before I was even born. His name was George Young, and he lived over in Barnes, North Carolina. Now, tell you what, that man, he had a reputation as quite a fighter. You know, they said he was the meanest man in the community. And this one time, a feller named King walked all the way from Shelton, Laurel just to pick a fight with old George.
So you're the famous George Young, one that's whooped many a man. Hellfire, you look like a dried up cornstalk to me.
I ain't got no quarrel with you, mister. In fact, I don't even know you. Why don't you turn around and go on back to where you came from and leave that hell alone? You're gonna push too hard here in a minute, and you might just regret coming to Barney.
I've heard tell use me, but you ain't nothing. I think you scared. You look like you've been shot at and missed and cracked at and hit.
You go on, leave me alone.
I take a hold of you, boy, I won't let go till thunder.
Yeah, you're correct. You fall back in it, too.
Don't you walk away from me, boy. I didn't walk all day for nothing. I'm going to get me some satisfaction.
Tommy, I was going through some of your grandpa's stuff and I found this old ledger. He wrote some of our family's history from the war between the states. Since you like stories so much, I figured you might like to read one. Read this one right here. This is your grandpa's own words.
All right. Let's see. Since I was raised less than a mile from Aunt Tildy, I seen her more than any of the other children. I would listen to her as she told about the wicked treatment the soldiers gave her. There was an Anderson branchwoman who spied on the people for the rebel soldiers. If she found any clothing or anything of value was brought into the community, she would let the rebel soldiers know so they could take it away from the people. So one morning, there were 25 soldiers in the yard. Granny told me this story before. One of the soldiers found a pair of shoes Uncle James Hagan had given to Aunt Tildy. The following question and answers followed.
Them shoes are mine. My brother gave them to me.
Oh. Well, I'm going to give them to my wife.
Well, why don't you pretend I'm your wife and give them to me?
You ain't getting these shoes.
Captain, can I take my shoes?
Lady, if you can take those shoes, you can keep them.
Think you are, mister? You think you can come in here and take whatever you want?
No, let her be. I made a deal with her. I told her she could take them shoes, she could keep them. He can't handle himself no better. Let him take a whipping.
After that, the other soldiers would remind that soldier that Tildy whipped him. If he done anything wrong, they'd say they'd take him back to Aunt Tildy to let her tend to him. So embarrassed, he ran away and joined another company.
But till pony steed. Anything of value they could find. Well, they took care of Tildy's shoes. She said, please give them back to me. They were a gift from my brother James, but the soldier refused her plea. So foolishly refused her plea. She brought a heavy burden, she could carry things out. She was a big fisted round mountain boy who knew that she had to carry on. Stay on the farm and carry on. She turned to the captain, said, can I take back my shoe? He said, lady, if you think you can, you are certainly welcome to. Without saying another word, she balled her fist and turned around, hit that soldier in the mouth, and knocked him to the ground. Oh, and then she took back her shoe. Oh, heaven, girl, carry things out. She was a big fisted round mountain boy who knew that she had to carry on. Stay on the farm and carry on.
Son, you sure got to the house early this morning. You that eager to work?
Well, stepdaddy stayed out drinking last night. He come home this morning, cussing and wanted to fight. I had to get out early to stay away from him.
Son, you come to my house anytime you want to. I'll take care of you. Just put up with no such as that now. You reckon your mama's all right?
Oh yeah, she could beat the crap out of him.
Yeah, I bet you could. Oh, something I was gonna tell you the other day. You know, all I know was, I know how you like stories. It was about me and your granddaddy. We used to gather dog hall over in the Dobrek section over in Madison County. Used to sell it to a forest up there in Indiana.
John made much money doing that?
No, not a whole lot. I mean, it's about $5 a thousand, I reckon. But, you know, the thing is, $5 went a lot further back then than it does today.
Uncle Robert, what was Granny Harris like?
Well, son, Granny was an honest, hard-working Christian woman. You know, it's a shame she died before you were born. She would have loved you, and you certainly would have loved her. You know, her and your Granny were two of the best friends I ever had.
And Mama loved the Lord with all of her soul. She prayed and read her Bible every day. When she passed away, family and friends gathered round to say their last goodbye. Preacher read from the Bible and had many things to say.
of ages, cleft for thee. Let me hide myself in thee. Now, my dear friends, you will clearly see that Jesus Christ is that stone. The all underlying foundation of the church. Where other foundations can no man lay, than that is laid, which is Jesus Christ. What further proof do we need that Jesus Christ is the sure foundation of the church, the cornerstone, and the only foundation of the church? Amen.
Granddaddy was a preacher, a labor of the word, and a believer in the promises of God. When Grandma left us, we said we'd see her again. If we follow the example that she lived. Now Granddaddy's been called away, God's promised land. He and Grandmama walking hand in hand. Well done, thou good and faithful servant. Well done for the faithful life you lived. Your days on earth were spent according to the Lord, and now you've earned your reward. Oh, now you've earned your reward.
Well, you know what it means to give good measure.
Well, I got an idea. I'm not sure.
Well, it means when you work, you don't cut corners. You just do a little more than you have to. You know, not just enough to get by. Let me explain it like this. When I was a young man, the times were hard. It was back during the Depression. You know, it was either work or starve to death. You know, a lot of times I cut trees, I grubbed the stumps, and, you know, sometimes I dug taters. People didn't have much money to give me, and a lot of times they just paid me in food. You know, one time I worked all day for a gallon of skim milk. When I got home, that milk, it was blinky. You ever tasted blinky milk?
No. What's blinky milk?
Well, it's just, whew, it's milk, it just tastes so bad, you just, you can't drink it. You can't. I had to pour it out. And, you know, yeah, anyway, it's just, milk's hard to spoil. Okay. Well, what was we talking about? Good measure. Let's get back to that. You know, one time I worked for a man at the mill. His name was Bill Buckner. Now, he's a big old fleshy feller. Yeah. He told me, he said, he'd give me a shell corn, a whole bushel of shell corn for a good day's work. Well, when I got done working, he was so proud of me. He just poured that corn in there and right on my basket, and it just kept going over the edge and into the floor. And I said, no, Mr. Buckner, now you're wasting that corn. And he said, no, I'm not, son. I'm giving you good measure. You see, I gave him good measure with my work. It's the same for me. It's just, when you deal with other people, you got to do more than you have to, not just enough to get by. You understand what I mean?
Well, yeah. I believe I do.
Well, don't you ever forget what good measure means.
I won't.
Well, I'll be. That was one of your of Grampy's favorite songs. He used to sing it to me and your Aunt Helen when we were youngins. Let me see if I can remember the words. Oh, listen to my story, I'll tell you no lies. How John Lewis did murder poor little Louis Wise. He told her to meet him at Adams' Springs. He promised her money and other fine things. So fool-like she met him at Adams' Springs. No money he brought her nor other fine things. With me, little Omi, and away we will go. On to get married, and no one will know. So she climbed up behind him, and away they did go. But off to the river where deep waters flow. John Lewis, will you tell me your mind? Do you intend to marry me or leave me Little Omi, I'll tell you my mind. My mind is to drown you and leave you behind. Have mercy on my baby and spare me my life. I'll go home as a beggar and never be your wife. But he kissed her and he hugged her and he turned her around. And he pushed her in deep waters where he knew that she would drown. He got up on his pony and away he did ride. As it seemed the poor little Omi went down by his side. 'Twas on a Thursday morning, the rain was pouring down. People searched for Omi, but she could not be found. Two boys went up fishing one fine summer day, when they saw little Omi's body go floating away. They threw their net around her and drew her to the bank. Her clothes all wet and muddy, they laid her on a plank. They sent for John Lewis to come to that place, and they brought her out before him so that he might see her face. Though he made no confession, they carried him to jail. No friend or relation would go out on his bail.
Now, I meant to tell you this the other day. You remember me telling you about my granddaddy sounding that feller's eye out with his thumb?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, now this is a story, and it's about his son Lawrence. Now, Uncle Lawrence, he was a pretty good feller when he wasn't drinking. But you let him get a drink of liquor in him, son, he was a totally different man. You know, one night he come home and he started beating his wife with a stick of stove wood. And he had a daughter out. She was probably 12 or 14 at the time. He bought her a .22 rifle and taught her how to shoot it. That girl was so good with it, she could put a matchstick on a fence post like 50 feet away and shoot it and strike the match.
Damn you, woman, I will come and go as I please.
Stop it, Mama!
Now you run along. This don't concern you.
No! Daddy, I said stop it, Mama!
Oh yeah, got him right in the heart. I mean, he was dead before he even hit the floor. Well, now the girl's school principal came to the house, and he asked the law if she could come and stay with him and his daughters until her court date came. Well, when her court date did finally come, she went before the judge and he dismissed it. The girl never even spent any time in jail. Well, now, son, make sure this next paper gets on the porch, all right?
All right.
Now, your granddaddy had a cousin by the name of Ernest Payne. It was a bootlegger during the Depression. What? Did that paper make it on the porch?
No, just at the bottom of the steps. It was close.
No. Well, now you better go up here and get it and make sure it gets on the porch.
All right. Robert, how come that paper has to be at the front of the steps on the porch?
Well, now all we really got to do is get the paper in the yard. But see, that woman's old that lives there. She's got to come up and down them steps. We don't want to make it so hard on her. We just want to get it up on the porch every time from now on. Now, that, son, is giving good measure. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
All right. Well, anyway, like I was saying, your granddaddy, now, this cousin of his, Ernest Payne, he was a bootlegger back here in the Depression. Now, he got chased by revenue agents all the time.
Well, what's a bootlegger? What's a revenue agent?
Now, a bootlegger, now listen, that's somebody that makes moonshine. It's like a legal corn liquor. And a revenue agent, he's somebody that tries to put the moonshiners out of business. See, they don't pay taxes on what they sell. Well, anyway, they used to chase him up and down every holler. There was one time when your granddaddy helped on learn his tie.
Hey, Junior, the dang revenuers are after me again! Lay down here, quick!
Hey man, you see anybody run through here?
Damn hillbilly's not gonna tell us anything. Let's go.
You see, it was kind of funny now, because you see, your granddaddy, now, listen, he was a preacher. He did not like moonshine. But you know what he liked even less?
Huh.
Revenue agents. Yeah, there was no way he was about to let them federal men take old Ernest to the penitentiary. You know, see, now there was many a day when I was on the hillside of plowing, I could look right through the woods and see old Ernest making liquor at his still. But it wasn't none of my business. I just kept on plowing. You know, I remember when he was killed. It was December 3rd, 1938. His own uncle shot him. You know, they got into it over some liquor.
Uncle Robert, you forgot that house.
Oh, no, I didn't forget them. We're not going to deliver the paper there anymore, son.
How come?
Well, now I left him a paper bill last month and he didn't pay it. So, you know, I give him the benefit of the doubt. But I left him one the other day for the past 2 months. Didn't pay it. He says he refuses to pay it because it's too high. So we ain't going to deliver the paper there anymore.
Well, surely they can afford to pay the bill.
Yeah, they can afford it. You've been seeing them ads on TV for Pittman Furniture?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's who those people are. Now, they got plenty of money. Hey, there's no bill.
with that. You getting any word out of him?
You know what, when I keep him awake.
Hey, say, Bob, ain't you from St. Mush?
No, actually, I'm from Tuxedo, North Carolina. But see, now what happened was, we moved down to Simpsonville, South Carolina, and I was raised down there. And we moved back up here to Madison County when I was about 18. That's where my mom's people were from.
Oh, I was just wondering. I thought you were from Sandy Mush. See, my wife's family owns a good many acres up there in Clock Cove.
Oh, yeah?
You know, they say there's a ghost that lives up there.
You don't believe in a ghost, do you, Bill?
No, not me. But there's a good many of my wife's family believe that ghost is there. They call that old boy Jake. I reckon there have been quite a few stories told about it. He was a Confederate deserter that went up and down the creek stealing food. Now, mostly cornbread and milk. Now, my wife's great-great-granddad's name was Baldy John Clark. He didn't take too kindly to the boy stealing food, so he waited up for him one night.
Hey, got you, Dave! I got you now!
Next day, John and some men followed a trail of blood in the snow all the way up to the sunny side of the mountain to where that snow had melted. Now, they never found the boy or his body. Some say the boy's ghost came back in haunting John and his family. Woo!
Stranger came to Clark Cove in '63. Wayward boy who left the rebel side. For he didn't want to muster, didn't want to march. Most of all, he didn't want to die. An elusive lad who hid out on the mountain, hardly ever let himself be seen. He crept up and down the creek, daily corn, bread and milk, a fight to survive by any means. Oh, a man there, John Clark, issued a warning. These low-down pity days will soon be through. For when he comes around, slipping by my door, I'll tell you now, he's gonna get his due. Long John, don't you shoot that boy. He'll only come back to haunt you, don't you see? Yes, an outcast and deserter on desert road, and the restless spirit he will be. One fateful night, the boy came sneaking around to the cabin where Father John and his family lived. And as he ran away, a shot cut the cord, for a musket ball was all John had to give. At morning light through the snow they dragged the blood to a sunny slope where the trail came to an end. And John took a look around, said, sure it did. That's the last we'll see of our friend. Oh, John thought he had done such a deed for the whole Clark Cove community. About the shooting of that boy was still up there too, but the future he could not foresee. Oh, John, why'd you shoot that? He'll only come back to haunt you, don't you see? Yes, an outcast and deserter on desert road, and the restless spirit he will be. Then one night as John laid down to sleep, with the thoughts of what he'd done running through his head, he heard a tapping sound on the cabin wall, and he sat straight up in the bed, more elusive now than he ever was before. The stranger had come back to the cabin to stay, this time in spirit form, tapping on the wall. All those in Clark Cove knew that's Jay. Oh, Long John as years ago passed away. Jake House has long since been torn down. Some say the old Jake never did exist. Some say he still
This your money for the paper, Bill.
Thank you, sir. You know, I wish all my customers were as good about paying as you are. We appreciate you now. All right.
Oh, thank you, Bill.
Get your paper.
Ah,
Thank you, sir.
Oh John, why'd you shoot that boy? Later on, come back home, don't you see? Yes, an outcast and deserter, on deserted boy. And restless stay with you. Running and romping through the world, breathing that sweet mountain air. We were poor but didn't know it about the property to show where the hills are blue. Our families love and fought their good hearts, folks called it where the hills are blue. Many nights were spent camping out on a hilltop underneath the starry sky. Played radio all night long, sitting on the ground right there by the fire. We were lucky to be living in a place so close to the sun, where the hills are blue. Our families loved and fought their good hearted folks taught me where the hills are blue. Tangled with briars and vines. Oh, how the years have gone by. I can still remember the time when life was not so complicated, simple things were appreciated, where the hills are blue. Our families loved and fought their good hearts, folks called them, where the hills are blue. Where the hills are blue. Where the hills are blue.
Hey, y'all remember the song we were working on the other night? New song about Joe Holcomb. Y'all remember that?
Your name up.
That's it.
Where did that song come from, you?
Well, a former teacher of mine told me the story. Miss Maney, she was my former teacher. Joe Holcomb was her great-great-grandfather.
Now, was Miss Maggie your first or second ninth grade teacher?
Now, Miss Maney was my math teacher when I was taking some classes at Marshall College. Y'all know where Marshall College is? Anyway, let's try this.
Was a His wife and 9 children kissed him goodbye, cried as they watched him walk away. When he left their side, he yelled, everything'll be alright, and I'll return to you someday. They prayed he's not before they lay down. Oh Lord, bring our daddy home. Savannah Town. Continued on, Joe Hope couldn't stay strong, surrounded by pain and death. On the battlefield was killed or be killed. He knew that any day might be his last. While back at home, his wife and children struggled on to keep themselves and their livestock fed. They spent so full of tin farm and did the best they could, not knowing if he was alive or dead. They prayed he's not before they lay down. Oh Lord, bring our daddy home. Savannah Town. In spring of '65, he made it through high. He walked and walked for days on end. One of his children yelled, here comes Daddy up the trail. And she saw him come around the bend. Just then like thunder rolls, mounted riders on the road, hearts of stone and hate in their eyes. After the war was done, one of them drew his gun and shot Joe Holcomb dead as they rode by. Well, howdy there, Uncle Robert.
Hey, son.
How are you?
Oh, I'm all right. A little tired.
Good to see you.
See you too, son. I'm running the tiller most of the day up here. They're off a little patch above the house. Or eat some green beans. Where you been, son? How'd you left the country? I haven't seen you in so long.
No, I'm still working over at school, making some music, and now that mowing season's here, I'm really covered up.
Son, you got too much to do, don't you? You ever gonna take a rest? I mean, you gonna work yourself to death.
Yeah, reckon who I learned that from?
Yeah.
Hard work ain't killed you yet, has it?
No, I reckon not. Where you been playing music?
I'm mostly just around the area, but now we did go to Indiana a few weeks back. Played in a festival up there.
Indiana.
Oh yeah.
That's flat country up there, ain't it?
Oh, it's flat all right. Took us 14 hours to get there. Drove through the world's largest cornfield. It took us 14 hours, and that banjo picker sat in the back seat of the van. Didn't say 2 words the whole way. When we got up there, he looked at a construction site, and there was a big old pile of dirt at the construction site. He said, "Looky there, boys, there's the only mountain in Indiana." We call it Adams Mountain.
That reminds me, I had a great uncle that was a banjo picker one time. Yeah, I'll tell you who he was. Let's see. Now, do you remember my granddaddy that sounded that summer's eye out with his thumb? Yeah, okay. Now, let's see. It was his brother. That's who it was. Now, he'd go and he'd pick at gatherings and such. I reckon he's pretty good. Well, he got out. He's about as mean as the rest of the family, you know. He'd get out and shoot him real bad to shoot him back.
Most of the banjo pickers are.
Yeah, that's right. And if the people he was playing for didn't give him a can to spit in, he'd just reach out and he'd say, "There's spit on the floor."
Ooh, that is nasty. Well, listen, Uncle Robert, not to change the subject on you, but I got something I've been wanting to ask you. Now, you've been telling me stories ever since I can remember, and I've always loved your stories. And I know there are other people out there in the world who'd like to hear them too. And I was wondering if you might be interested in going out in public and telling some of your stories.
Well, what's that?
Yeah, I'm friends with a lady at the folklore center. And I can call her, see if we can set it up, and you can go out there in front of a crowd of people and tell your stories to them.
You mean me get out in front of a bunch of strangers and talk?
Yeah, you know what? You might even get paid to do it.
No, Tom, it just ain't me now. Oh, look, I'll sit right here and I'll tell you stories all day long. But I get up in front of a crowd of people like it just ain't me, you know that.
You remember back when I was little, my stepdad had come home drunk. And I was scared to death. I mean, sometimes I feared for my life. But I knew if I could make it to your house and open that door and smell Aunt Helen's cookies, I knew if I could make it there, I was safe. And I just want to tell you, I appreciate that so much.
Don't you mention it. Now, hey, I don't put up with no mess like that. You know, you can come to my house anytime.
You know I'm better off because of you, don't you?
I don't see how.
Well, I am. And I love you. And I'll see you here today or two. But you'll see me when you can. Woo! What y'all doing, boys? Where you been? Oh, I've been round and about. How's everybody doing?
I think we about learned that song.
Yeah, sounds like it. Sounds pretty good. What y'all quit for?
What you got here?
For the engineer there.
Well, where's that song come from? You know?
Well, no, my daddy-in-law wrote it.
Oh,
Lloyd wrote this song. Yeah, Lloyd wrote this. And I'd like to take credit for it, but I better not. You know, Lloyd was just a little fellow when his daddy was shipped off to Europe during World War II.
This is your daddy's son, and one day he was coming home on a choo-choo.
Dad came home on choo-choo.
Now, Lloyd's daddy got a job working with Southern Railroad. He worked there for 42 years. Ain't no wonder the man loves trains the way he does. Let's try the song. My daddy was a riverman on the Southern line. We drive that Southern crescent on every Southern time. That big steam locomotive, shiny green and white, from Asheville to Washington to Speedway at night. Oh, no matter what they do, it'll never be the same as I know that green and white Southern pasture train. Keep drivers working, make the wheels go round. Hear that whistle blowing, oh, what a beautiful sound. Changing the ribbon rail, you hear the clickety clank of the steel is rolling down the railroad track. Ain't nothing like sleeping on a open car, rocking and rolling, counting on the stars. Oh, no matter what they do, it'll never be the same as I know the green and white Southern pasture train. Keep drivers working and the wheels go round. Hear that whistle blowing, oh, what a beautiful sound. I was 12, I rode Florida by myself all the way. A porter named Roy Rogers was working on that day. From Asheville to Jacksonville and on the way back home, he took care of me as if I was his own. Oh, no matter what they do, it'll never be the same as I know that green and white Southern pasture train. Hear the drivers working, make the wheels go round. Hear that whistle blowing, oh, what a beautiful sound. White Southern pasture train. Keep the drivers working, make the wheels go round. Hear that whistle blowing, oh, what a beautiful sound. Oh, hear that whistle blowing, oh, what a beautiful sound.
get out and work around here. Oh, it's driving me crazy. Can't get out and do nothing. I'd do something around here if they'd let me.
What would you do around here?
I don't know, plant flowers or help them build a fence or something. I just want to get out and work.
You know, I can't say I blame you. Wouldn't do me any good just sitting around here doing nothing either. So listen, I was hoping I could record some of your stories. Would that be all right?
Be all right.
All right, let me see if I can figure out how to work this recorder. All right. I believe it's working. You just talk right there towards that little microphone. It should pick you up just fine. Now, can you tell me the one about your granddaddy putting that fella's eye out?
I don't remember. I don't remember that.
Well, you know, George Young, remember your granddaddy? That fella come all the way from Law to fight him, and he ended up putting that old boy's eye out.
I don't remember.
How about your Uncle Lawrence getting shot by his daughter? Do you remember that one? Remember he come home drunk and was beating his wife with a stick of stove wood, and she shot his daughter, shot him and killed him?
Just don't remember, son.
How about I know. How about Mr. Butler, the man at the mill? He's the one that told you about good measure. Remember?
Oh, I know what good measure is.
Yeah.
But I don't know nothing about no man at a mill.
I know. How about the man, the tattooed man who took the frog in when he was a little boy? He had a tattoo of a beagle and a rabbit on his backside. Remember that one?
Remember.
How about Ernest Payne? Remember Ernest Payne? Remember he was Grampy's cousin? He was a bootlegger. And he got drunk one time and rode his horse into the school building. Do you remember that one?
Oh, no, Ernest Payne, son.
Thank you for everything you've done for me. You know I'm better off because of you, don't you? I love you. I'll see you here in a day or two.
What about you, son? Who you are?
Jackson County, North Carolina, turn of a century. Wasn't any younger than keep on free to say me. Well, like Texas on fighting, you were known around the land. So king side, you go find out just who was a better man. He found himself along to the barn and general store, where he found Mr. Young, says just a looking boy. Young said, "You best hold on, I got no quarrel with. Turn around, go back home, it's the best thing you could do." It was a Mountain Dew with that unspoken rule, no weapons would be used in the fray. It was too late, old man to man, when the fight was over. They know who the biggest man in Madison County was that day. So King shouted insults at young could not let go. Soon those two mountain men were standing toe to toe. Crowd began to gather as they stared each other down. Push came shove and punch was thrown. I wanna hear. I'm gonna put out your eye if you don't turn loose. It was a Mountain Dew, that unspoken rule. No weapons would be used in the rain. It was tooth and nail, man to man. When the fight was over, they know who being spent in Madison County was that day. So young did just what he said right when the fight was done. He came on with two good eyes and left the big one. It was a Mountain Dew, an unspoken rule. No weapons would be used in the fray. It was tooth and nail, man to man. When the fight was over, they knew whose man in Madison County was that day. Tell you of how Lawrence Cole ended up losing his life when he came home from jump one too many times to lose and matter along who once was his true love. His only teenage daughter couldn't take it anymore. This time she didn't hide when he staggered through the door. Went to the gun rack on the wall, took down 22, raised it to the shoulder. Daddy, please stop, I'm begging. Lawrence Cole didn't have a son, so he taught his only daughter how to aim and shoot a gun. Little did he know what she learned to him in that night. Lawrence Cole finally paid for his sin. His friends continued on, she pulled the trigger true. Bullet struck him in the heart, he heard mama go. That drunken Lawrence Cole was dead before he hit the floor. Lawrence Cole didn't have a son, so he taught his only daughter how to aim and shoot a gun. Little did he know what she learned to him in that night. Lawrence Cole finally paid for his sin. When June came around, there was no rest. He saw cuts and bruises of desert to attend. Said he was glad that the girl had found her, that might be Lawrence Cole. Only God will be his word. Lawrence Cole didn't have a son, so he taught his only daughter how to aim and shoot a gun. Little did he know what she learned to him in that night. Lawrence Cole finally paid for his sin.
kids all nights around 1922. He had a friend whose dad was a tattooed man and traveled circus show. Took the boys frog gigging when he come in from the road. Out on the lake one night they saw the blazing side. A full moon shining, they were running high. Daddy couldn't see cause he's facing the other way. Boy, some pictures clear like they painted on a page. Out on the boat one warm summer night, a beagle chasing a rabbit appeared before their eyes. That eagle looked determined to catch that cottontail. The rabbit seemed determined to throw that beagle off his trail. Both those little animals stood still as a stone. Although the frightened rabbit was just inches from his home. Daddy hiked his britches and then began to laugh. Lots of folks would pay good money to see that. As quick as they appeared, the rabbit and beagle were gone. Robert and his best friend went back to kicking balls. Out on the road one warm summer night, a beagle chasing a rabbit appeared before their one warm summer night, a beagle chasing a rabbit appeared before their in a mountain cove. He made some good white liquor. What he didn't drink, he sold. One time on election day, jumped on his big white horse, rode him down to the schoolhouse, up the steps and through the door. Oh, he done fresh and tight and hard. Hardest pain found a way to get by. I'm making partaking in sad moonshine. One day the preacher met Ernest running down the trail. Share to the preacher, the revenues are on my tail. The preacher hit old Ernest in a thick bit of pines, cause the preacher hated revenue work more than he did moonshine. Oh, we done fresh and tight and hard, if you got somehow job, Ernest Payne found a way to get by. I'm making partaking in sad moonshine. Ernest Payne's life came to an end.
his brother, and they argued over shine. Oh, in the present times of war, things were tough and won't have time. Brothers Payne found a way to keep up by making, partaking, and selling moonshine. Making, partaking, and selling moonshine.
David, Brian, come over here, boys. Before y'all unload the mowers, against shut. Y'all ever heard the term good measure? Let me tell you about it. Here's some good measure for you, ladies and gentlemen.
days were filled with fun without a care, running and romping through the woods, breathing that sweet mountain air. We were poor but didn't know it, with mountain pride ready to show it, where the hills are blue. Our families loved and fought there, pure in heart is what was taught there, where the hills are blue. Camping out on a hilltop underneath the starry sky. Play the radio all night long, sleeping on the ground right there by the fire. We were lucky to be living in a place so close to heaven, where the hills are blue. Our families loved and fought there, pure in heart is what was taught there, where the hills are blue. tigers and the vine. Oh, how the years have gone by. I can still remember the time when life was not so complicated, simple things were appreciated, where the hills are blue. Our families loved and fought there, period hard is what was taught there, where the hills are blue, where the hills are blue.